Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone out there. If you're watching live, hello. If you're watching this afterwards, hello. Certainly what is I'm talking to is just a sideshow to go with Talking to Me, my produced show, as well as the other stuff I do on this channel. So what am I doing here? I'm talking about everything. Anything and everything. And of course, I'm talking to because every motherfucker on the planet has a podcast now. So I'm somebody else that has a podcast. So welcome aboard. Like I said, this is a free-flowing show. I certainly encourage you guys to either make some comments or jump on in with the StreamYard address there. I know these addresses suck. They're not exactly user-friendly kind of website addresses you get to join in, but there it is. So certainly you guys feel free to join in, make comments, everything else like that. I know in Australia, everyone's probably going to work right now, 8 o'clock. I know my mate here, Oddball from Australia, he'd be at work right now, I would think. So there you go. Who else we've got already here? Oh, beautiful Nita, the ever gorgeous inside and out Nita. So proud to be associated with Nita, and I love their show, Sci-Fi Queens. You should be checking that out every week. A show that I help produce. Nita, who has taken that idea and has taken it. Wow, she's taken it so much further than I could have imagined. So you've got to go check her out. So how's it going, Nita? It's not going too bad. It's 8 a.m. here, so I'm pretty happy that I'm morning fresh. I've been up, showered, I'm caffeined. I've got everything I need to get through the day. And there's the Oddball again. Ahoy, brother in return. Cracking rocks. Cracking barrel? Is that what you're talking about? Cracker barrel? No, maybe not. Just cracking rocks. No need to thank me, Nita. I'm not getting paid to lie, so I'm being honest. Very proud of what you've done over there. It's a great show. You and the girls do exceptional work over there, and more people need to be subscribing to her channel immediately and checking out what a wonderful show that she has. So basically what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to share a screen, and I'm just going to go through some of the things on the internet. I've got questions. I have commentary. So let's kind of just have a look and see what the big fella is on about today. Let's have a talk of some movie news. We're going to have a look at some movie news. So, wow, we got some big news today. But most importantly, I did want to talk about, which I don't know what's up here. There is this animated movie on Netflix at the moment called K-Pop Demon Hunters. It's an animated cartoon, and clearly they are a K-pop band that maybe fight demons as well. Either way, this thing is the biggest thing on Netflix ever. And you know what I've learned from that? I'm so out of touch. Like my friend from Australia here, good old Oddball, who's literally cracking rocks at the moment. He's out there excavating, cracking rocks. Now I get it. Yes, back to K-pop. It was a point of pride, and he would know, like, if anybody had a question about what's going on in the pop culture zeitgeist in my world back in the day, I was the guy they went to. But holy crap, between K-pop Demon Hunters, Labubu's, and Skibbity Toilet, boom, I've officially aged out of popular culture, I think. I have no idea what the hell is going on anymore in the world of pop culture. But it's the biggest thing by a country mile that Netflix has put on. And I mean, that's saying something, right? I mean, they own freaking Stranger Things. And they're saying K-pop Demon Hunters is doing better than Stranger Things. Wow. But either way, let's go back to what we heard, because go back to the screen, because it was a good story here. The Cobra Kai creators are making a Knight Rider movie. So apparently the people over that just did a really successful show. Now, if you never watched Cobra Kai, you were missing out, because it was a phenomenal job they did with a franchise that was basically dead. Didn't need to happen. Like no one really cared about the Karate Kid anymore, to be honest with you. That one with 2008 with Jackie Chan was great, but we'd moved on. But Cobra Kai creators want to make a Knight Rider movie. I got to say, I love me some Knight Rider, but what's Knight Rider today? Isn't it just Tesla with some AI? Like, what is the car going to do now that's going to impress the shit out of everybody? Because that's the thing, right? Knight Rider's like, the car is so fucking cool, man. The car's awesome. He talks to you. Well, we live in a world where, yeah, you could just basically hook up your AI to your sound system in your car and you freaking have it. So it's interesting why they're going to do it, but it's also, this is a damning indictment. A damning indictment of the lack of creativity left in Hollywood. It really is. This is some fucking bullshit. And I'll tell you why it's some bullshit, because in this day and age, in this scenario, like there are so many writers out there with original stories and they're just shitting on shelves because no one wants to invest in creativity because the only thing that's making money at the moment is sequels, reboots, IP. So it is a damning indictment. I love that show. And yes, Oddball brought up a really great point, and I was really down for that. I was keen in the beginning to make that work, but yeah, it flopped. It flopped hard, which was disappointing. So, look, you want to make a Knight Rider movie? You do it at your own peril at this point, right? I mean, it's not going to be something I think the world is asking for, but these guys are talented writers. They did write a good series of Cobra Kai. When they were able to make 6 seasons out of a pretty thin premise, and they made it work. So maybe they can make it work. I don't know. We'll see what happens. And obviously, you pull off a really great trailer, maybe we can make it work. So that was an interesting one, I thought. Going back to what else is kind of coming up in the world of pop culture news, it's been a pretty quiet weekend. There's been a little buzz around a Street Fighter movie. Can you believe they are going all in to redo a Street Fighter movie? Now, those old enough to remember the console, it's the arcade machine, and how big it was and how amazing it was, and then also lived through the unfortunate 1994 movie, Julia's last movie, unfortunately, Jean-Claude Van Damme, Kylie Minogue in that film. Obviously, it was a complete misfire. It just didn't work. But they are going all in, apparently, with this new movie. And the main dude, this guy here, Noah Centineo, was once cast as He-Man in a version of He-Man that they were producing over at Netflix. He was the kid that they cast to be Adam, aka He-Man. But that obviously changed. We've got another actor in there, but this kid here, whoa, look at him. He is jacking up. So the fact that he's getting his opportunity in a big budget film, I think this film only exists because of the success. I was going to say mediocre success, but a success is a success of Mortal Kombat. A film made here in my hometown of Adelaide. And I was lucky enough to go on set and check it out. It was wonderful, and I had a friend. Well, he's still a friend who got me some merch and that as well. So it's it's got to be off the back of that success of that film, right? It's now got a sequel coming up. But I'm keen to see it because the bits and pieces we're seeing about Street Fighter, they are going game accurate. So let's see how it goes. I will say the Mortal Kombat movie from 2021. And I was very proud of it being made here in South Australia and all that kind of thing. It's funny because you watch the film, and I'm sure this happens to Americans all the time because movies and TV shows are made in their neighborhoods. We don't get a lot of that here. So when that happens, it's always weird to go, oh, look, I know that street. I know this. I know that. But yeah, the movie's bad. The movie was bad. I wish it wasn't, but the movie was bad. So it's made enough money. It's going to make a sequel, but Street Fighter, here we go. So Yeah, no, like here is the sad thing is there are so many great ideas, but Hollywood's is focused on making stuff just sad. Yeah, I would agree 100% because IP is what sells. You know, you've got someone like Bob Iger, the guy who runs Disney, right? And this dude came out when he came back a few years ago to take control. He goes, "We're going to be focusing on, storytelling. We're going to make less movies, but we're going to make good movies." But then, the movies that he is going to focus on and make are all sequels or an established IP. No one wants to take a risk on new ideas. Like, how in the hell would you even have all this IP to draw from if there wasn't at some point taking chances on original ideas? You've got to have those original ideas to build an IP. You've got to have that. So the fact that companies like Disney, Warner Brothers, Paramount are so scared in taking risks, it's really sad. It's an indictment. Another indictment. It's twice I've used that word this morning, but it is. It's horrible. It's horrible. I just wish we had, really wish we had, more people in Hollywood. Because the problem is, once upon a time, Hollywood was owned by people who were passionate about the industry. It was independently owned. And then they've gone corporate. And ever since then, we've seen the degradation in quality of storytelling. It doesn't mean we don't get awesome things. We do get them. But we should be getting a lot more. When I grew up in the 80s, original ideas and blockbuster movies and just great films was the standard. It was the standard. Yeah, you had sequels, but it wasn't dominated by it. You could go most weekends to a movie in the 80s and could find a movie that was genuinely new and fresh. So, anyway, I don't want to sound like the old man who's complaining about, oh, wait, it should be, but, it's sad. It's sad, Oddball says, Platform 2019 was the last unique idea I have seen. Oh, that's interesting. That is interesting. I'd like to talk to you about that, actually. Yeah, I actually would like to talk to you about that, my friend, at some point, and we will. But yeah, I mean, like it's an interesting time in Hollywood because what we're seeing is the death of an old format and the birth of a new one. What form that takes, I don't know. I really don't know what will happen in the future in regards to how film will be, what it will become. Because streaming, like, don't get me wrong, I mean, I've benefited from streaming like everybody else has, right? The fact that when streaming came into your homes, all this library, the access. But because of that, it's actually toxified our viewing experience as well. I don't know about you guys, but how often are you on your streaming service browsing for hours and then just giving up and going, fuck it, there's nothing to watch, I'm just gonna go. I do that a lot. At the same time, I'm smart enough to parallel go, well, as a kid, I'd be in the video shop, I'd be at your local Blockbuster Video in that store for an hour, trolling up and down the aisles trying to find a movie. But I always took a few movies home with me. In this world of streaming, you're not. You're browsing and going, screw it, I'll watch some funny cat videos on YouTube. And that's not a blight because funny cat videos on YouTube are hilarious. Okay. Now, look, what else has kind of been going on? When I was talking about being aged out of the zeitgeist, like feeling like I don't know what is good, I'm old, right? I'm 51 years old and I don't have my finger on the youth, on the pulse of the zeitgeist of the youth. I don't have it. So there are three things that I don't understand. And I'm going to think today what we'll do is use ChatGPT to hopefully give me some answers on some of this stuff. And the first thing, so let's bring up ChatGPT. The first thing I wanted to talk about and cover is the thing called Labubu. Now, do you guys know what Labubus are? Because I had no fucking idea until my daughter brought it up, who's 24, mind you. I'm sorry to throw you under the bus there, love. But you and my and the lovely girlfriend of my son also was way into Labubus. This is an international phenomenon, apparently. And, I was like, well, what are they? And essentially, they're these. They're stuffed toys. And apparently each one is unique. Each one is different. And the kids are just going nuts over this stuff. But you know what? This is like this concept of, well, everyone's unique and everyone's kind of different. Called Cabbage Patch Kids, mate. That's what they did back in the day. Same kind of thing. But it's become a massive phenomenon. Enough that my daughter had been spending a really long time trying to find them. She just got herself one too. She just got herself a Labubu. But I don't get it. I don't understand it. I don't see why you would be so excited about it. And the fact it is matter, it'd be one thing if it was for kids, right? And I'm sure kids are all over this stuff. But it's this demographic. It's your women in their 20s and 30s that are going freaking nuts over Labubus. So that's exhibit A of why I don't understand the current world, is the Labubus. So, which, again, what the hell is going on with Labubus? The other thing, which is like I just talked about, which is the biggest thing in the world, is that K-pop Demon Hunters. So let's go to chat. Before we get to that, let's see what ChatGDP has to say. Is why are Labubus so popular? Even though I spelt that wrong, let's have a look. Let's zoom in a bit so we can all kind of read. This is going to be a bit hard to read. Whoops. I don't want to share it. No, I don't want to create a link. What I do want to do is just zoom in here. Okay. No, Labubus. No. See how bad my spelling is? You know why? Because I have Homer Simpson fingers. So I can't spell, and I have Homer Simpson fingers. So it makes it really tough sometimes. Why is Labubu? Maybe I don't do plural. I just go, why is Labubu so popular? Let's have another look. See what we can get. Here's why Labubu is so popular. Okay, unique and cute design. Labubu has a distinctive mix of cute and creepy. Big grin, mischievous eyes that stands out from other collectibles. Okay. It's an art toy friend. Design of vinyl toys and blind box collectibles are a huge trend, especially in Asia. Labubu fits perfectly into this culture. You know, the other thing that's got us here, I was collecting them. Like, I had to excise them out of my house because it was getting out of control, was the pop vinyls, which is still huge, right? Pop vinyls are still massive out there. Yeah, we are certainly collecting culture, aren't we? And we were getting to the point where, I know some people just have walls of them, but I was like, why am I buying boxes and never opening them? I just didn't like that. Limited editions. Apparently, Labubu releases are limited or seasonal, creating hype and demand along collectors. There's one hilarious video. There's one hilarious video where this woman goes, I have the world's only 24 karat gold Labubu. Some English chick. And I'm like, who gives a shit? Because I don't. Anyway, what else? What else we got here? Community and collectors share unboxings, trades, and displays online, fueling excitement. Yep, okay, I get all that. Right? I get the fact that, it is popular. And, with the pop vinyls, it's the same thing, right? It's just we have this weird thing about collecting materialistic plastic items, don't we? And I'm for one. You go into a room in the back house, you've got a giant Lego collection and a fairly decent He-Man and Master of the Universe collection as well. So I get it. It's just a weird thing about human beings, right? It's a weird thing. But that's Labubu. The other thing that I don't understand, and let's ask ChatGDP if they know. Before I go on, we've got some comments here from Mama Dingo. I've resisted a Labubu trap, Mama Dingo. Smart move. Smart move. Who needs it? You don't need it. And they're overly priced, let's face it. What else have we got here? It's hard as my kid wants one. Yeah. See, that's the other thing too. They get you. They suck you in with this stuff because all the other kids have got them. And if your kid doesn't have it, then that kid feels like he's missing out. It's a It's a massive FOMO attack on our kids. The fear of missing out. It's horrible. That's the thing, though. You kind of want one too. All girls, I think, around a certain age want a Labubu. Like my daughter, she got one delivered here, right, 2 days ago when she got hers. And the fever around, hey, like saying to my wife, who happened to be home that day, open the box, but don't open the second box. And their pure excitement about getting her Labubu was concerning, nonetheless, because she's a grown woman who works full time. Very proud of her, except for the Labubu part. But demons, they are demons. They're not, maybe not K-pop demon hunters, but they are demons. There's no doubt about it. Jax, the singer, did a rare gold Labubu, and her baby was so funny. Okay, so you're going over my head at that point now, because I know of the Labubu. I'm aware of it, but I just don't understand it. And I know, look at me, I'm not exactly probably the demographic for Labubu, but I still want to kind of understand what the attraction is, because they're cute, but there's all this cute shit everywhere. I think it's just excellent marketing that they've been able to find this niche. And it's because it's kind of come from an art design. It's had some cachet with it, I think. And I think it snowballed from there. But what the hell do I know? Not a lot. Okay, the blind box drawer is like the pokies. Yeah. Yeah, that is so true. I know what you're getting at there. And, yeah, there is that attraction, isn't it? And then it becomes addictive. And I'm someone who has had problem with collecting in the past and I did a video on it the other day where I was saying, like, I'm getting to the point at the moment with my collecting where I'm going from crossing a threshold where I can't go back from. And when that's happened previously in life, I've panicked and just sold everything. I don't want to do that now. But yeah, it definitely becomes an addiction. LOL, I'm so funny. Thank you, Nita. I appreciate that. No problem. So that's why you'll continue to always be highlighted on my channel, because you find me funny. No, in reality, you're just a really cool person. And Mama Dingo, if you really want to watch, and I shouldn't do this because everybody should be watching Sci-Fi Queens. Doesn't matter what you got between your legs, but especially with the female, because it's a very strong female influenced show, which I'm very proud to see what she's done there. I'd recommend it to you, Mama Dingo. I would check it out. She's wonderful. Go just look up Sci-Fi Queens on YouTube. Glad to see what your family is up to. Yes, I do. My kids actually are a very big part of my life. Yes, like they are. I'm very wonderful. I have a wonderful relationship with my family. My wife is my best friend. I've been with her for 30 odd years. Yeah, like, my kids are everything to me, man. I know always like what my kids are up to. They also have like, I don't want to know everything that's going on because they both live in separate houses and, I've got wonderful partners and things like that. And, so there's that balance. You want to know everything about your life with your kids, but you don't want to be too intrusive. But there you go. You don't understand. I know, Nita. What is wrong with us? We used to be cool, Nita. We used to be cool, apparently. I'm a collector to the extreme. Creative Mind Museum. There you go. Put a link up. Yes, for the Sci-Fi Queens. I'll do you one better. Let's get onto YouTube and let's bring up their channel of the Sci-Fi Queens, because they are so cool. No, what is all that about? Rio, Brazil. I don't know. I can't afford to go to bloody Rio, Brazil. But I can afford to show you guys a really great YouTube channel. Let's bring it up. Oh, you can see in there. Where are you? Sci-Fi Queens. Episode 1. Wow, that's going back. But we don't want that link. Where are you, Nita? I haven't, you know what I didn't do? I didn't put the dash in. I forgot to put the dash in. Sci-Fi Queens. Let's have a look. Here we go. Sci-Fi Queens channel. So what we have to do is look up Sci-Fi Queens with this address and check out their plethora of shows. Just really wonderful. Just all three hosts are just so smart. And and it's great because you get a perspective. I like watching it because it's a female perspective that, you know, is not loud enough in the sci-fi space. And that, I remember when we talked about maybe starting this channel, that I felt that women that I know in my real life, or people I know, weren't doing a lot in the YouTube space at that point. I didn't think, you know. Certainly there were lots of young women with low-cut tops, you know. But actually mature, smart, intelligent, and gorgeous in every right, in their own right, you know, talking about sci-fi and what they like. And they don't just hit the normal kind of stuff we all know. It's all deep cuts. Like, they're talking about movies not everyone has seen. They have interview with authors who are doing independent novels. It's a real, like, community-based, grassroots-level sci-fi show. Highly recommend. There's a plug. I'll be sending you an invoice for this free marketing. All right, Nita? I'm only kidding. But here you go. YouTube.com/@Sci-Fi Queens. It's easy to find and worth the watch. Lots of women get crushed. Not these women. Not Nita. Not my girl Nita. And definitely not the other girls. They do not suffer fools lightly. I'll tell you that much. Yeah, so they're really great. Now, you know what? We're in the YouTube space. I need to talk about the stuff that I'm also on. Now, I have been involved in a few YouTube channels, but how did it start for me? How did I get into this space? Well, I got into this space, really, this is a sad story, but, you know, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I got into this because my mum had passed away. Unexpectedly, my mum, God love her, she was, you know, I had a great mum. I had the mum you'd want, right? And when she passed away, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to handle myself. I didn't know what I was going to do. But I know that mum kept, like, her voice from beyond the grave. I know this sounds silly. Said to me, I need to be true to myself. Son, you need to be true to yourself. And there were a couple of things like that. One, I always had a love video. Was, hey, you should start looking at maybe chasing your dream. Your kids are growing up. They got jobs now. Maybe this is your chance. And there were a couple of ways to attack that. One, I would end up starting my own business a couple of years later, which I'm still running to this day. Just made my 5-year work anniversary. Very proud of that. And the other thing is I wanted to get in the podcasting space. So me and my best mate, Rick, who is somebody who you couldn't ask for a better friend, he was in a bad place himself at the time and needed to look at a different direction. And so we started something called, and let me bring it up here, Pop Culture Spread. And we started that back in 2017. And over those times, we've had highs and lows, and there's just so much here that you can go through. It's something we're kind of really proud of. You know, where do we hit at the moment? Where, you know, we got 6.37K, like not a huge following. But look at the amount of videos we've done, 1.2K videos. So that was the first YouTube channel we started and we developed. And then after like that, after we were working together, I met, you know, through Rick and just somebody contacting, I met somebody called Joe. And Joe he is this guy from New York, big sci-fi nerd. He contacted us. He wanted to do a collab, as he called it, a collab. So we met, and I liked the guy. I thought he was cool. I thought it was cool, you know. And then, you know, we talked about doing Star Trek podcasts, believe it or not. And that spawned basically the next probably big show that I was part of, which was Captain's Quadrant, which has certainly now become quite, is doing really well, and as you can see here, it's a very vibrant, popular channel where we're doing all right. And this was part of a whole channel that we were doing called Spectrum Sanctorum, which Sci-Fi Queens, which I promoted, was also born in that as well. But long story short, Captain's Quadrant is another podcast where we do that. What I like about this show is we do it live every week. We have people call in and all that kind of thing. So it's a fun show. I have at times left the show a couple of times, and I'm not really permanently on the show. I'm back as a special guest star for Strange New World Season 3, if it's a show you're watching. But this is a lot of fun. And, this has taken me places because of this channel, because of someone like Joe. I even got to go to New York for a convention last year and get to, be on a couple of panels, talk to, one of my favorite actors in the Star Trek universe, and the guy that played Neelix from Voyager, which you can find on that channel. So that is hilariously fun show. It's all live. Me, Joe Dove, and then the other co-host is the great Jason Roy Gaston, which I'm also very, very proud of. And let's go and have a look at that over there. All right, Jason Roy Gaston. Jason Roy Gaston, here we go. Now, Jason Roy Gaston channel is a big one. And again, I should say, every kind of website you kind of like, I'm generally doing the design for. So it's something I'm also a producer in the background. But Jason Roy Gaston, this is a guy that Joe found and wanted to be a guest on Captain's Quadrant right on the early days, really in the early days. And I remember Joe going, this guy is really TikTok famous and, he's a big deal. And I remember thinking, I don't give a shit. Is he a nice guy? I don't care how many followers he has. He thinks he's cool because he's TikTok famous? You think you're cool? Well, guess what? He was. He was really cool and funny and amazing and a very close friend as well. And I've worked on the Jason Roy Gaston channel, which is, like I said, popular. It's got 36,000 followers. This guy has 500,000 TikTok followers, 300,000 or 400,000 Instagram followers. In the world of influencers, he's there. The dude's there. He extremely funny and talented dude, And for some reason, he felt sorry for me. He wanted me to join him. And we've been working together now for a couple of years. And it's the best. I don't think I've ever met... Who would have thought I would meet this guy from Texas who literally had the same sense of humor as me? And because of that, we have now worked together for, like I said, a couple of years. And we do multiple shows on there, which is a lot of fun. And you can see it's mostly him on there, but believe it or not, if I go to actual videos, I'm in quite, there I am. We do about 3 or 4 shows in there. One's called the VHS Vault, which you've got to check out. Another one is called The Power of J-Skull. Do you get it? It's a He-Man reference, and it's our He-Man show because we're nerds. Avatar, we've been doing something, Avatar The Last Airbender. I'd never seen it before. And a couple of years ago, he goes, we should do a show on that. First time watching it. And we've been doing it. It's amazing. We're up to Korra season 3 right now. It's great. So there's lots of great stuff that I'm involved in. And I'm very blessed because of that, because Jason is extremely talented. I mean, he's on the threshold of real serious fame, getting to the point where he's going to be a way more known name than he is. I believe that wholly and solely, and it's a pleasure and an honor to be able to work with him. One of my biggest joys is to make this cynical son of a bitch laugh. I'm kidding, of course, but, if you can make someone you think is hilarious laugh, that's always a good thing. So anyway, that's enough about me and my world in that regards. And like I said, I've got fingers everywhere. One of the great things, and Joe has a big part of play in this as well, is the fact that I've been able to produce other podcasts. Like Joe I've done a few, he does a few different shows. I've been I produce all them by making the intro videos, their logos, the segment bumpers, thumbnail templates. So it's actually evolved into also a little bit of work. So, which is kind of rad. So that's amazing stuff. All right, guys. All right. Anything else that I want to kind of mention today? Mama Dingo knows him. The speech actor guy. Yes, he's great. Yes, and that's the thing. I had no idea who this dude was. I had no idea who this guy was. All I knew was, all I know is, I was told that he was a big deal. I didn't care. But when I met him, I'm like, this dude is kind of funny. And then I retrospectively went back and watched all of his dramatic readings videos, which it generally calls them, plus kind of eye videos. And it was like, you make me sick, Jason, because you're that talented. No, it was hilarious. It was funny. I love working with him. One of the highlights last year going to New York was being able to hang with him all day. We had a bro date where we spent the day in Manhattan together, which was very special. Which was great. That included Taco Bell and me seeing a squirrel for the first time. And no, just seeing New York and having him with me again in the subways, going over to, being at the front of the Ghostbusters building. And it's still got all the Ghostbusters signs and all that. No, it was an incredible day. They're incredible people. Jason Roy Gaston and Joe Pombo, solid dudes. And because I told them they were solid dudes, I should be sending an invoice for them as well. Nevertheless. Okay, so what is Taco Bell like? Okay. Now, I should clarify. I never got to eat the dinner version of it. I didn't do that, right? But what I did do is we had it for breakfast. And, this is from a guy who has digestive issues. So I trusted him when he said, let's go to Taco Bell for breakfast. Man, that motherfucker was right. Taco Bell breakfast is the most amazing thing in the world. It really is. It's delicious. It's absolutely fantastic. And the big shop is 99% of the food that I had in New York, like Shake Shack, and we went to a 50s diner and all that. It was fantastic. But then, in late afternoon on the day that we were in, and it was coming back from the Ghostbusters building, I said, you know what? I walked past McDonald's and I went, you know what? I'm not hungry, but let's get a cheeseburger to see what it tastes like in regards to what we have here in Australia. Dude, I'm not exaggerating when I said it was the most disgusting thing I've ever put in my mouth. And I've put some disgusting things in my mouth before. That was the worst. The meat was just grey and horrible and sickening. I was great all day. I ate that. I felt ill for hours afterwards. So American Macca's sucks big time. I would never have it again. But most of the food was great. So there you go. Savo Queen says the Taco Bell is horrible. It's the worst. The breakfast was good, Nita. I got it. I'm on Jason's side with that one. Excuse me. I like the breakfast. I cannot give evidence to what the dinner tastes like, but the explosive diarrhea didn't happen, and I was shocked at that. Corn syrup Coke. Yes, luckily they had Coke no sugar, so I just drank bottles of that rather than any kind of thing. But Shake Shack, damn, Shake Shack is good. We need to have Shake Shack here in Australia. The stuff was amazing. The other thing too is I found about going to New York last year was, social media tells us that it's a violent, dangerous place, and African American women are angry and violent, and you've got to be careful. That is what social media was saying. But I got to say, and I hate to bring race into it, but the people that made me feel the most welcome, that were genuinely interested in who I was and all that kind of thing, were the African American people. They were just amazingly warm and generous and loving and funny and Yeah, man, it was awesome. It was awesome. Yeah. So did you have a taco? Yes, I did. A breakfast taco, which was kind of nice. It was kind of like a soft taco and a hard taco with egg and bacon and that kind of in it. Hard to explain, but really delicious. Yeah. But the people in New York were wonderful. They were great. And then I had this weird experience. See, hang on, before I move on to that, Nita, I've never experienced violence here in New York. Yeah, man. Like, that's the thing. I mean, the biggest problem with social media when it comes to news is to sensationalize, right? It's to make you fear. Like, honestly, we were told not to use the subways because of threats of violence and stuff like that. Yeah, I'll tell you this honestly. When me and Jason, because how do you get around New York unless you use the subway system? I don't know how you do it. Anyway, we go into the subway. And I'm not saying every station and everything, but my experience is I got on the subways, I saw strangers meeting each other, having conversations. I saw no violence, no anger, no nothing. And it didn't smell as bad as I would expect. However, if you go up to the top of the stairs, a couple of the exits from the subways did have that very strong aroma of urine there. But necessarily, it's nowhere near what it was, what it was like, Amazing. It happens, but not as bad as the media says. Yes. And we have here stuff where I live. We have violence as well. Yeah. You know what? Also, this is a good chance, actually, to talk about where I live. We live here in Australia. We've got a couple of Australians here, so they know where we live. But I thought for the American audience out there who may be watching this at a later stage, I'll point out where I'm from. Now, I'm from Australia, right? But Australia's a big country. As big as the US in many ways and very, very kind of similar in size. I live in a state called, so there's Australia there. I live in a place called Adelaide, which is basically the groin of Australia, as I like to call it, the groin of Australia. So, yeah, we live in Adelaide. And Adelaide, I will be honest with you, is a smaller state than the other states. But it's a cool place to live. I love Adelaide. Adelaide's beautiful. Born and raised. Very, very proud to come from there. So, yeah, I live in the groin of Australia, which is something to be very proud of. Yeah, I actually just flew back and yesterday flew back from a place called Tasmania. Not the Tasmania with a Z, where the animal from the Warner Brothers cartoon lives. That's a different Tasmania. But I was here in Tasmania, actually right at the top of a place called Burnie in Tasmania, filming a video. I think most of you know, but if you don't, I'm a corporate videographer, which means I travel Australia, not all the time, but travel Australia to make corporate videos, which is a blast, which is fun, and keeps me out of trouble. So I flew back there from yesterday. So, yeah, Adelaide, if you ever come to Australia, put it this way. You want to go to the east and the south, right? Or over to Perth. If you're soft when it comes to weather. Because I'm soft when it comes to weather. I'm from Australia. But anything higher than 34 degrees here, I'm bitching and moaning. So Adelaide's a bit of a cooler place. So is Melbourne. So is Tassie. Sydney, the weather can change. Up here, it's kind of tropical. If you live in Darwin, there's a thing called the dry and wet season. The dry season is just perfect weather. Wet season will drive you insane. I lived up there for 9 months too. And yeah, so that's where I'm from. All the way there. Meaning the closest, biggest continent next to us would be, well, not the closest, but Antarctica. Like, it was weird when I went down to Tassie and I was down at a place called Port Arthur. Very famous place, nefarious place. And it was weird because we went out in a ferry and we come out kind of here, and the realization that the next big landmass straight ahead of us was the place where the Thing lives from that movie where it burst out and the head grew tentacles and everybody died. But yeah, that's where the Thing lives there. All right. Prior to COVID, Adelaide was the third most livable city on earth. Yeah, it was. It was. And look, it still is. It's just housing's out of reach of young people, right? No one can buy a house anymore here. unless you're uber rich. So, yeah, like it's a shame. We've seen some massive changes. I still think it's a great place to live. Someone who's, like I said, goes to these other cities and things like that, I think we've still been better off. But yeah, unfortunately, it's very expensive to live here in Australia, and especially in Adelaide at the moment. Kind of sucks. All right, guys, I'm kind of running out of things to say that I wanted to say today. I genuinely wanted to keep this going for an hour. I certainly thank all of you for jumping on in today. Oddball Mama Dingo, and of course, the Queen herself, Nita from Sci-Fi Queens. No structure to the show, never will be. I'll probably be doing this twice a week. This is, again, addition to the main show of the channel, which is called Talking Tubi. Please go watch them. It's my unfiltered kind of attempt at making content the way I wanted to do it. I'm not star of the show. The star of the show is AI Arnold Schwarzenegger. Correct, I have an AI Arnold Schwarzenegger. And what we do, the show called Talking Tubi is around that streaming service called Tubi, which is like the bargain bins at your Kmart or your Walmart. That's what it is. It's a streaming version of that, which means you'd go in there and you'd see a film and go, what the fuck is this? But maybe you bought it because it was $3. Tubi is just a whole streaming service that has that, and it's free. So Talking Tubi is about me going through the streaming bargain bins, finding old B-grade films and celebrating them and watching them. So they only go for 15 minutes each. I've done 8 episodes so far. So I'd highly recommend, if you haven't been watching them, to please go ahead and watch them. Yes, Effed Up Ads is awesome. Thank you for that. And they are the ads that I've been chasing down. They're actually in the show. So, when you're watching Talking Tubi halfway through it, you get effed up ads. And that's great, But it's a lot of fun. And also, I think the thing I'm most proud of is being involved with so many other YouTube channels. Copyright becomes an issue. Like demonetization is a big issue. Like, you'd make videos and you would think, I've got nothing on that's going to be copyright, and you get demonetized. And I just went, fuck it. I don't care about monetization. I don't care if I get blocked somewhere. I'm going to make a show that I want to make, with the language, with some nudity, with a whole lot of violence. Fuck it. And I don't care. And funnily enough, YouTube on the most part has been very supportive on that case. But I am banned in Belarus and Russia. So you cannot see my channel in Belarus and Russia. I'm super proud of that as well. But yeah, go check it out. It's a lot of fun. And mate, I got to say, the mic drops I have, because I use copyrighted music, and just make sure that, hey, I'm not profiting out of this. Please go and Spotify or Apple, wherever, support these guys. But the music's really great. I think it's funny. AI Arnold is the scene stealer of the show. So go check it out. So, yeah. Oh, he got a clip that was blocked as well, Harry. Yeah, that happens. Yeah, but you know what? I just got sick of it because, I'm on channels that I had to be careful what I say. I can't use this. I can't use that. And I was like, that's no fun. Where's the fucking fun in that? So, no. I certainly understand and appreciate being on those other channels that I have to limit my language and all that, because that does drive creativity at some points. However, this was just a chance for me to. But yeah, they're going to be 10-episode seasons. So first season of Talking Tubi's episode 8. I've got 2 more. And then season 2 will happen about a month again after that. They're going to be consecutive. And each time the idea is to kind of raise the stakes with it. But there'll be more on that as we come along. Yeah, what's the hell? Belarus must suck for watching YouTube videos, right? Because if you're in Belarus, what are you getting access to? Probably not a hell of a lot. Anyway, that's it, guys. Thank you again. Yeah, I'll do this probably twice a week coming up. I don't know when, because sometimes work dictates. Because believe it or not, I'm able to do this morning. But as soon as I shut down the stream, I've got a meeting to jump into. So that's why I'm going to end it now. thank you all for watching, and I hope I'll catch you all again next time on a show that I thought was clever a name because it's kind of like Talking Tubi. I'm Talking To. See you guys.